The power of this month is the power of dominion, as we've been talking about. The power of dominion is how we take responsibility and get in the driver's seat, if you will, of our own life. We move from thinking that life is happening to us to recognize that life is flowing through us. It's quite a different way to be. And once we establish dominion over our lives, a way that we do that is by letting go of our resistance to life. Right? We accept life on life's terms, I've heard it said. To stop hiding, if you will, and become willing to be who we actually are. Or as we just heard, to take off the mask that you might be wearing. Allow that spiritual identity in you to shine forth. And the freedom that comes from that is what I want to talk about. To stop resisting what is and how we think things should be. And you know that word should is a red flag word, right? Thinking I should do this, I shouldn't do that. Just pay attention to what's going on in your mind when you use that. I want to share on the master teacher on non-resistance. He lived the message. Yes, spoke some of it too, but also lived it. There were teachings like turn the other cheek. Right? Remember that the master taught in Roman-occupied time. And everyone was not super happy about that. And there was friction and trouble around that. But rather than take up arms, he knew that we approach all of this from the Spirit within us. So we turn the other cheek. We surrender our cloak. We go the second mile if asked to go a mile. Why do we do these things? Because resistance, here's what I want you to remember. Resistance keeps in place that which we would like to let go of. Believe it or not. It's counterintuitive. It makes no sense. You think if I don't like something that I should resist it and push it out of my life. Good luck with that. It does not work. Because resistance is simply adding energy to that thing. And anything we add energy to, it's that much more alive in us. So if I spend my energy carrying, say, a resentment against, you can fill in your own blanks here, an ex, if anyone has an ex, a family member, sometimes we can get annoyed at family, a coworker, right, a politician. And I heard someone say once that the highest expression of spiritual living and living in true equanimity is when you don't even get mad when someone puts the toilet paper on the wrong way. You're just like, I can work with it either way. Example for me, now I used to smoke cigarettes mainly. No, man, the other things were cigars and pipes. I don't know where your mind is going. And I was thinking, man, I quit smoking so many times I could write a book. Except the problem was I never actually quit. I just kept trying to quit. I've quit smoking so many times. It's unbelievable. And anyone who has also quit smoking, you know what I mean. That chemical has this way of getting under our, it won't let us go. It is truly a very, very difficult thing to be free of. And I quit and quit and quit, and it never worked, and it never worked until it did. And guess what changed when it did? I stopped resisting it. And I realized that the entire time I was trying to push this habit away. It would be healthier, it's for my family, it's for this, I spend too much money. All of these very sensible reasons were just me resisting it and trying to push it away. When I stopped resisting it and fully accepted, like 100% accepted, I am a person that smokes cigarettes. That's the last thing I wanted to be, right? My whole point was to not be that. But there was no way I could get from where I was to the freedom that I was after, except through fully accepting I am a person that smokes cigarettes. And all this tension just sort of went away. Now, it still wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but it was possible. It went from impossible almost to fairly lightweight. Yes, it still bugged me from time to time. I created this mental image that every time my body or my mind or whatever it is telling me, man, it would be great to have a cigarette, I just pretended it was an annoying neighbor that would just constantly come over and ring my doorbell. And I was like, oh, it's you again. Okay, thank you very much. See you later. And I could say, thank you very much for that. I hadn't thought of that. What a great idea. Thank you. Goodbye. And then I would say this phrase, I'm not doing that right now. Which was both literally true. I was not smoking a cigarette in the moment that I said that. I am not doing that right now. But it had a much deeper meaning. I am not doing that at this time in my life. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow is a made-up concept. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Right here and now is all I need to know about. And it worked. By moving from resisting that behavior to fully accepting it, which felt like the opposite of what I wanted to do. But it's the only way I could do it. Now, I want to stress this, and I do, and if you've heard me talk about doing our releasing work, our forgiveness work, it's critical that we all understand that non-resistance does not mean I am a doormat. It does not mean that I tolerate abuse. I do not. And I invite you to not tolerate abuse of any kind. If you are yourself in an abusive situation of any kind, your only duty is to get you and your loved ones to freedom. And from there, we'll take up the rest of this. So non-resistance does not mean that we're a doormat. I want you to hear that. So if resistance grants power to the very thing you wish to change, non-resistance dissolves it. And I love, I have a growing affinity for Pema Chodron, the Buddhist teacher. So my answer to why, how is this true? Why? Pema says, nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Now, that's true, as I often say, because it's super annoying, right? These spiritual truths tend to be deeply troubling and annoying to us. It's like, oh, cigarette smoking is my teacher. No, I just want it to be my past. I want it to be my ex, right? Not my teacher. That's the opposite. But nothing leaves till it has taught us everything that we need to know from it. So you can use that to kind of shift your relationship, maybe get yourself into acceptance around whatever it is that you would like to shift in your life. Here are the practical steps. I want to stress this is not about behavior. It seems like it's about behavior, right? I want to stop the behavior of smoking. So if I approach it on a behavior level, I can't solve that problem on that level. Just like we can't solve a thinking problem with thinking, right? We have to solve it by presence, from a heart place, not from a thinking place. So this is always about consciousness, not behavior. Consciousness comes first, behavior follows. So if you want to change your behavior, find the consciousness that underpins it and become aware of that. So here's what does work. I like the steps, right? Easy steps. Because I've heard a lot of things that sound good. Let go and let God. That's nice. How do I do that exactly? I can carry a sign. Yes, let's do that. What does that even mean? That's what I often ask. What does that even mean? Here's how this works. Step one is awareness, right? We cannot release anything that we're not aware of. And believe me, we got a lot of stuff within us that we're not aware of. And those things that we're not aware of, those are running our lives. So it behooves us to become aware of whatever they are. Nothing can be healed if it's in the darkness. It's got to be brought out into the light to be healed. So awareness is always step one. Like, wow, I really got a problem here with these cigarettes. I would like that to be different. That's awareness of what's going on. The next step, which is the counterintuitive one, is acceptance. To fully accept, yes, I am a person who smokes. Because there's no way out of this trap if I can't say that. And live that and really accept that. Only then does its claws get out of me. When I stop fighting with it and stops gripping me, I let it go, let it be what it is. And then the third step is a weird word I hear when I hang around with Buddhists, equanimity. Equanimity just means to be non-reactive, means an evenness of mind. Using my mental image of my annoying neighbor that I use to personify the desire to smoke, if I have equanimity around that, when that feeling comes up, oh man, I should smoke a cigarette, or if that neighbor comes over, I don't get mad. I say, oh, hello, good to see you again. Oh yes, I hear you, thank you. Thank you. Till next time. That's equanimity. I just let whatever happens, happen. Don't get too bound up in it, because when we get bound up in it, now it's got us. Right? And we want freedom from it. So we let it go. So again, awareness, become aware of what's going on, accept it fully. All this is simple, but it's not easy. And then just let it be. Let life be what it is. Accept life on life's terms. And know that that is your path to freedom. I thought of this, I hope this fits. So I've done some surfing. Now before you picture me like those people you see on TV, I didn't do television surfing. I did like middle-aged guy weekend East Coast beach surfing. 2 weeks out of the year we go to the beach, we still do. And it was fun. You know, it's just very low-key stuff. But I knew enough about it from getting kind of into surfing and learning about surfing. There's sort of two camps of surfers. And I'll give you the inside scoop. They're called short boarders and long boarders. Short boarders ride a shorter board. And to ride a shorter board, it better be moving. And when you see a short boarder on a wave, and this is what you'll see like in a lot of surfing competitions, they're doing everything they can do. They're going up the wave and down, they're spinning around doing this and doing that. And the longboarders, who tend to be totally chill, often a lot older, are like, where's the fire, son? What are you doing? It looks like you're trying to dominate that wave. I have a whole other way to do this. A longboarder rides a very long board, 8, 9, 10 feet, and will paddle and get in the pocket of that wave and stand there like they're standing on a street corner. That is hard to do, trust me. It is hard. But man, when you get in, you're working with the wave. Right? You're not trying to dominate it. You're not going up and down and all over. And I said it tends to be older people. There's literally a break in San Diego. It's not the official name of the break, but what everyone knows it as, it's called Old Man's. Why? Because it's where all the old guys go to longboard, because it's a great longboarding spot. So I invite you to be a longboarder in your life. Work with what is happening. Just let it take you where it's going. Just let it flow with life. Stop resisting it. Stop trying to dominate it and change it and bend it to your will. I invite you to allow the Spirit to be your guide. It's so much easier, too. It is so much easier. Oh my goodness. So get into the flow of life. I'm going to close with this. It's kind of like Ricky Byers said, let it all fade into God. Let it all fade into God. So I'll close with this affirmation. I'll read it, then we can read it together. I release all resistance and trust the divine flow of life unfolding through me. Let's say that together. I release all resistance and trust the divine flow of life unfolding through me.